Alright, let's take a very quick look at our reference layer. We're going to go ahead and create this segmented control up here at the top. So I'm going to hide this. Now, what I like to do is clear my guides when I start working with new guides. So I'm going to go up to View, select Clear Guides. And there we have a fresh start as far as our guides go. And let's also make sure that we're staying organized. We are getting a little bit sloppy already. And you'll notice the line we named was automatically, the line we made, down here was automatically named to shape 1. I'm just going to give this a name of gray stroke, and let's just be descriptive with our names. And then I'm also going to select layer new and create a new group. And I'm just going to call this top area. Name things whatever you want, as whatever sticks. I usually just whatever comes into my head I name it, as long as it's associated. So I'm just going to make this, drag it to the top, and then make sure I select dashboard, top BG, and gray stroke. We're going to leave BG out of this. Let's just drag these, make sure we're right in the center of this top area and that they drop right in. And now we have that organized into a nice little group. Now we're going to build a group within a group now. So let's go up to layer, new group, and we're going to call this segmented control. And we're going to have this inside our header section. So let's just make sure we grab our group, drag it down, and we're just going to drag it below that gray stroke. And we can make sure that, yep, it's inside our top area folder. Awesome. So now let's go ahead and create the segmented control. If we look at our reference, we're going to notice that there's a little space here that runs along the entire screen. And it starts at the segmented control, and then our 3 modules all happen to be spaced the same. And that space is 12 pixels from the left. And you could actually zoom in and count that. I happen to know that we need to get a 12 pixel space in here between. So let's hide our reference layer. And let's go ahead and create a new guide. And that new guide, we're just going to give it 12 pixels. And we're going to make sure that it is a vertical guide and select OK. So there, we have that exact space we need to be on the inside of our blue guide. Well, we need to get the guide over here as well. And well, that's pretty easy. We know how big the canvas is. It's 1242 pixels because it's the resolution of the iPhone 6 Plus, 1242 pixels in width. So what do? All we have to do is subtract 12, and that would be 1230. So let's just create a new guide. And we'll give this guide 1230 pixels. So essentially this is going to take this guide starting from the left here at 0 and go 1230 pixels to the right, which is going to be 12 pixels from the end of the canvas. So there we go, we have our exact guides placed. Now I'm going to add one more guide. Let's go to new guide, and we are going to go 212 pixels from the top, and we'll make sure that this is a horizontal this time because I want to know exactly where to start this. So let's go ahead and select OK, and this is going to be the area that we create our segmented control. The reason I know all these is because I went ahead and measured them, so we didn't have to go in and look back and forth from our reference. I wanted to have that information ready so we can stick to the important stuff, which is creating the interface. So let's grab actually, before we grab any tools, I want to create a new layer, and I'm just going to select Control or Command Shift N, and we'll call this segmented control background. Alright, so we have a new layer within our segmented control, and we are going to now create a shape. Now let's grab our rounded rectangle tool. And I would like to make sure that my snap is on, so I'm going to come up here to View and select Snap because we're going to try to get as perfect with this as we can. And while holding Command plus or Control plus, I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to start right up here and make sure that this rounded rectangle shape that we're dragging out starts right in this corner. And you'll notice if we put it anywhere near there, it'll automatically touch those guides, which is great. I'm just going to hit Control or Command Z to undo that. And we're going to start back up here, and let's draw this rounded rectangle out. Now, you'll notice my radius is at 100 pixels, so that will not do. So I'm going to change that, and I'm just going to give this a radius of 10 pixels, which is a little bit better. And really quickly, I'm going to open my reference layer and make sure that I have this red color that we need selected. So I'm just going to use my color eyedropper tool, grab that red, which is now moved to the foreground, which is great. And we can go ahead and hide this layer. And let's go back to our rounded rectangle tool and drag this out. So starting right up here in the corner, mine's automatically grabbing that guide, and I'm just going to drag all the way to the right, and we're zoomed in, so it might take a second. And let's make sure that we've found this right guide and that it's touching it. Now don't quite let go yet, because I want to make sure that we have the appropriate height. And the bottom guide would be 290 and our top guide was 212. So let's just give this a height of 78 pixels, and that's the height in the Apple app. So drag up to 78, and there I go. Your width should be about 1218 pixels by 78 pixels in height, and that'll give us the exact size. Now that should be red. Well, it is red. But it's under our top BG, which needs to be at the very bottom of our top area folder. So let's grab the top BG and just drag this below segmented control. There we go. Now Control or Command I, and we're zoomed out. So we have the shape there. Now we need to start making it look a little bit better. Well, we need to decrease and modify this selection, and I want to go back into our reference layer and show you sort of how I figure out how much we need to decrease it by. Well, if we zoom all the way in, and I'm going to go back to 3200 pixels like we've done, we can see that this red line is actually 3 pixels, 1, 2, and 3. But this one's a little bit faded. So what they meant to do and what it's supposed to be is 2 pixels. Actually, nope, 3 pixels, because if we look on the left, we see that there's 3 pixels here. So we're going to give this, make sure that this is 3 pixels all around. So let's zoom back out, and we can go a bit further than that. And let's hide our reference layer. What happened here? Apparently, I changed the background color to blue somewhere. I must have, when I was on the top BG, selected something to change the color, so I'm going to hit Control Z and undo that. I'm not sure what happened. Y'all probably didn't do that, but I just hit Control Z or undo to undo whatever made that blue. I'm not sure what I hit, but I hit something. And let's go back to our segmented control layer and make sure we're on this. And what we're going to do is, while holding Control over this layer thumbnail, the little image here, just hold Control, select it, and it's going to select our red layer. Now, we've done this several times throughout the course, and we need to modify and contract this section by 3 pixels, because that's the outline. That's the width of the outline all around. So let's go to Select, Modify, and Contract, and let's just select 3 pixels and select OK. Now, we have our marching ants have decreased in size by 3 pixels. So theoretically, if we delete the inside of this, we'll have those outside 3 pixels of red remaining, which is exactly what we want. So let's go up to Layer and make sure we rasterize this shape. And the shape is now rasterized by selecting that. And with the layer selected on the segmented control background, select Delete or click Delete. And boom, we have our segmented control outline set up and ready to go. And I'm just going to select Control or Command D, and let's have a look. Looking good. Now we can move on to making this look like the actual segmented control.